All right, let's call to order this meeting, the Finance Committee. It is Tuesday, October 24th. We have a quorum present, and we are certified and compliant with the open meetings laws. First up would be the public comment, and only one member out in the audience, but no rush up to make a public comment. All right. Then into communications. Dave, you got one on the South Street property, right?
Yes, and this is out there for full disclosure so that everybody knows it. The property that's listed there, we bought 10 years ago from Stoughton STI Holdings and Donald Wallin. Unfortunately, we never put it into the general ledger, so when we were supposed to pay the first of 5 payments for debt principal in January, we didn't know about it. The only reason I discovered this is the attorney for STI Holdings basically said, "Where's our money?" So, bottom line, we need to report on every single upcoming bond issue that we have that we were delinquent on a principal payment. So this is never going to disappear on us forever. So like I said, I'm just putting it out there for full disclosure so that everybody is aware of it. This topic is also on the council agenda, so they're going to get the same recap from myself, and I've already sent it out to the RDA members with the comment that it's going to appear on their next meeting. The reason the RDA is involved is because they're the actual property owner. And I'm still coordinating with Baker Tilly's tax group to figure out how do we handle the delinquent 1099-S for the property. So we're working through that detail. Any questions on this at all?
Oops.
Yep, it's an oops. In the scheme of things, it's not bad, but I just hate having those forever reporting issues.
Right. We're having to explain it each time, like, it's because, oops.
Yep, and the language isn't going to change. Next one we do, it'll be in there. Ellers has the language in there already. We've got it for the upcoming bond issue, so it'll just be copy and paste to the next one.
And that would be, if one day when you retire, the next finance director would know that, or how would
Well, the next, and I'm not planning on leaving, but the next finance director will have the general ledger knowing that the payments are out there. And whoever we have for financial advisor, if we ever change from Ellers, which I'm not recommending, but if we ever do, that new firm, let's just say it's Baker Tilly, takes over in their area, they would look at the last bond issue and see that. So the internal controls are in place for it. So it would have to be something that both my office and the financial advisory firm, Baker Tilly, or excuse me, Ellers and Associates or somebody else, we'd both have to drop the ball and delete it out. Any other questions?
No. Bad way to catch a call, but anyway.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
All right, next up is, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the 3 meetings, September 12th, September 26th, and October 10th.
So moved.
All right, motion by Ben, is there a second by Greg? Any questions, edits, anything like that on these minutes? All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
And are any opposed? All right, minutes are accepted. Right into reports. Treasurer report, September 23.
The only thing that I wanted to bring your attention on the treasurer's report is something new that I added after the cash summaries. You do not see negative cash on those reports because we have to reclassify negative cash for financial statements as a due from the general fund. So this is a new report in there. It recaps that those 5 different TIDs owe the general fund close to $1 million in cash. So that's where, when we've got people saying, oh, you could just transfer money from other TIDs, it's like, no, I can't. We've only got one TID that's performing very well, and I think that's going to be needed for all the other negative TIDs. So I just wanted to add that in there for your folks' attention. I'll probably be keeping this in the cycle of reports so that you're aware of it. Like I said, that's the only thing I wanted to bring up on the treasurer's reports. Any questions at all?
So, next up.
Okay. The budget amendment reports and journal entry reports, I put in as I've been doing in the past for the reducing number of budget amendments, the comments in there why they're out there. So I just wanted to see if there's any other questions. There wasn't anything that I specifically wanted to highlight.
Nope, it looks complicated now, but it'll clean things up later.
Yes. Yeah, in the year of conversion it looks ugly, but the subsequent year it always looks a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Any questions on that report? All right.
And for the various revenue expenditure reports and balance sheets, there wasn't anything that I wanted to bring to your attention. I had notes on a lot of things that I thought was important. Any questions on any of my notes or questions in general?
Was the, let's see, I know we've had a note in, I forget if it was on this report or a different report about no invoicing off of the Juneteenth event.
I have yet to see a
Okay.
reimbursement request from them.
Do they have like a time limit, or is it an unlimited
That's up to
time?
the committee of the whole.
I see, okay, all right, good to know. Any questions for this report? All right.
I guess that's it for my reports.
Okay, nobody had no questions? All right.
Folks are taking it easy on me.
Yep. All right, then we're going to go into the resolutions at hand. The first one is a resolution on offer to purchase property located at 2464 County A, Town of Dunkirk. That is...
So this is the property down by the cemetery and Racetrack Park off of Highway A near the Public Works building. And the idea here is we've been going back and forth for a few years now to purchase this property. It's a couple acres to expand the park. Dan Glenn, Director Glenn is, I think, zooming in, and then Rick Matthew has been working on the agreement, going back and forth with the seller. And I don't know if there's anything in particular, Dan, that you want to cover.
Just, yeah, the offer to purchase, we had this is for 235. We had a appraisal done in 2009 or 21, July 2021 was 195. So obviously it's a little bit more expensive, but the Parks and Rec Committee thought the inflation over the last couple of years basically evened that out. And then the property was identified during the master planning process for a racetrack. So the additional land's going to allow us to have another soccer field in the south end of the park, and then internal trail through the park and some plantings as well. So even though it's only 2.1 acres, it'll be a huge benefit to the city.
Yeah, and the seller has already agreed to the terms of the offer to purchase. So the contingency is basically getting city council approval, and then we can move forward with doing the due diligence on the site. There is a 60-day post-closing occupancy agreement, so she would be able to, that was important to her, that she wanted to just be able to, after closing, then she wanted to move all of her stuff out, just so she had the added protection of, if things fell through for some reason, she wouldn't be moved out of the property. But otherwise, if there's some closing costs and things associated with that, but I believe Dan said it's all coming from park improvement fees.
Yeah, correct. We have $256,000 in the park development fund for land acquisition. So, there's a time frame when we have to expend those funds, and we haven't purchased any property since I've been director, almost 6 years. So we have to spend those pretty quick. But yeah, and those funds are basically generated from infill, where they can't do land development or dedication, I could say, like a normal development. So, and with us being a community park too, it makes sense, because those infill developments were happening throughout the city, and the community park, serves the entire community.
Lisa, do you have a question?
I did. I was just curious. You answered part of it with the timeline, and it sounded like we needed to spend this money soon-ish, but are you anticipating additional funds coming in the relatively near future to kind of replenish this, or I guess that's my question.
So it's all based on development, and for new master plan developments, we have going through the city where we're taking 100% park dedication. So then the other things would be infill developments where we can't do a land dedication. So it'll take some time to build that fund back up, just based on infill, since we're not taking the park fee in lieu of for the bigger developments. So it's hard to say how long it will take, just because of those factors. So maybe Rodney would have a better idea, but yeah, it's hard for me to forecast it.
Thank you.
Well, the land in lieu of dedication is for projects that we actually don't take land as part of the development scenario. So like for Magnolia Springs, 51 West, we actually acquired the land that was necessary as part of the dedication. So as far as land purchases or use for the land fee, that would only be available if we didn't take fees in lieu of land dedication. The park improvement fees, I think is what Dan's referring to, that we're going to acquire each building permit as like Magnolia Springs and others build out.
So I think the big one would be the riverfront property. What would we get from that?
Well, at the time of development, I think the agreement outlines the fee amount that would be necessary as part of the land or fee in lieu of land dedication in that scenario. that would be upon the time the building permit is taken out as well.
Brett?
Greg?
Yeah. Question, the way the resolution reads, it sounds like we're going to buy the property and then do the assessment, the environmental assessment. Is that a wise thing to do? Shouldn't we be doing the assessment beforehand?
So the offer to purchase includes contingencies. So the environmental assessment, basically if it comes back and we don't like anything in it, then we don't have to go forward with the sale.
Is there an escrow or anything?
What was that?
Is there an escrow?
I don't believe there's any earnest money.
Okay.
So
Any earnest money, excuse me.
Yeah.
Earnest money.
yeah, so basically we're committing to like moving forward with the transaction, but there's going to be a due diligence period. So we'll order the phase 1 environmental assessment.
So there's a contingency set in there.
Correct.
Okay.
The upside, if we do purchase it, then you don't have to chase soccer balls out onto the owner's property, so. All right, did anybody have any other questions on this offer to purchase? All right, if none, I would entertain a motion to recommend to council.
So moved.
Lisa, is there a second? Second by Greg. Any other questions or anything last minute on this one? All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
And any opposed? All right, we'll recommend that one up to council tonight yet. Last one up this is our resolution to negotiate developer agreement with Roth USA for installation of solar panels. And this one does have a possibility for closed session based on state statute 19.85, paren 1, paren E. All right, what can we start with?
So
We've seen it
I
already.
think where we can start is, we put together a resolution that kind of summarizes the request for the solar panels and some of the other things that we've done to make the site shovel ready. And then there's an item that we can discuss in closed session about the specific TIF request. They did fill out an application. We've had some internal meetings. Attorney Matthew's been part of that, and he can probably outline that better than I can once we get into closed session. And then the actual resolution, I would imagine, so we're going to take action on that, would be the plan if the group is comfortable. And I don't know if we would reopen for that or if that's going to be done in closed session. I don't know if that's something you guys talked about internally.
Yeah, so I would say we can approve the resolution in open session, subject to approval from the Common Council on the term sheet. But I would say the term sheet, we wouldn't necessarily disclose that until we've got final council buy-in, just to protect the city's negotiating position.
So I think, the goal tonight would be to hopefully get a recommendation from finance. It's on the council agenda. We talked about it 2 weeks ago to kind of prep for this.
Yeah.
And then we're hoping to take action so we can notify Roth. They'd like to get moving forward with the project if everything comes together as we hope. And then, that pretty much covers it. And if for some reason the finance or council's not ready to move forward, we would communicate that as well, and try to, answer any questions that might be outstanding. But I think once you see the term letter, you'll see that we've covered it. There's kind of some policy decisions in there that we would like the finance committee input before we take it to council.
All right. Does anybody have any initial thoughts or questions? All right. I would entertain a motion to move into closed session to discuss the, discuss the developer agreement.
Go into closed session.
All right. Motion by Lisa. Is there a second? Second by Greg. Public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. And we may reconvene in an open